If you or a family member is suffering from addiction, taking that first step towards recovery can be the hardest part. And it begins with a phone call. Beth Hopper is lead admissions coordinator for Clean Recovery. She joins us today. Thank you so much, Beth, for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You bet. And this is such an important to dig into and talk about and spread the word about. I want to begin with that first phone call that someone's making. I mean, when you get to that point, you say, I've got to do this, I've got to take a step, I've got to help myself. You make the phone call, then what happens?
So when they first call into admissions, they're obviously in crisis, and we will start the phone call with just listening to them, getting to know them, finding out what their story is, what made them call in that moment.
Right. And that's key to their treatment, I would imagine. It puts them off on that, on that right foot.
Yes,
Okay,
it helps us to start to know kind of what level of care they're going to be looking for. So then we do a pre-assessment. During the pre-assessment, we're going to find out medical issues, mental health, substance abuse history, living circumstances, just all the things so that we can get them the proper level of care.
And after you've gathered that information, then they're able to get into the treatment center.
Almost. So then we're going to run their insurance. We're going to get medical and clinical to approve them, but then they're on their way to clean recovery centers.
And this is something that is very meaningful to you, because reading a little bit about you, you've been from that stage of addiction, and then now you're an advocate for people who are suffering and battling.
Yeah.
And so please share with us your story, what you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, sure. So I struggled with fentanyl addiction for several years. In and out of treatment centers, and I finally was fortunate enough to get into a treatment center that helped me to kind of turn the wheels on that. I spent some time incarcerated first, then I went to a treatment facility, I went into sober living, and I just celebrated 6 years sober.
Oh, so, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And again, if you don't mind me asking, what was the difference? Because like you said, you went through some different programs, and that's a common thing that you hear about, is people get into one program and then it's like, well, that one didn't work, but now, what was different about the most recent time for you when you finally did it?
The difference was just having people that believed in me, like being around others that had been through what I had been through and seeing them living like fulfilling lives and seeing that they had overcome it. That really sparked the hope in me to know, like, I can overcome it too.
That's so true. And you know, it's interesting because there is stigma associated with talking about addiction, any kind of addiction.
Yes.
And it's so fascinating because I know, sitting here next to you, I've had plenty of family members who have struggled with addiction. There is a definite tie between your genetics and whether or not you're predisposed to having those types of issues. And so I know I'm not alone.
No.
People watching are saying, I've been through it, my family member has been through it. So it's surprising there is still a stigma, but there is.
There is. And I think overcoming that stigma is really a lot in the wording that we use. Like, I don't say I'm an addict, I say I'm a person that struggled with substance use disorder. And I think it's important that people not dehumanize us. Like, you know, even whenever I was in active addiction, I was still a mother, I was still a wife, I was still all of those things. And so I think it's really important that we use the proper labeling so that we can really help people to recover in a safe environment.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like, okay, saying I'm an addict, that kind of sets you off on the wrong foot to reaching your goal. It's like, okay, I've done this behavior, I've gone through this journey, I've struggled here, but it's an entirely different thing to associate yourself with that, rather than, hey, I'm a parent, you know, you're so much more.
Yeah.
What just really most important advice that you can glean through what you've been through and what you see at Clean Recovery, what do you advise people who are going through it?
Just to not give up, just to keep trying. Like, one day you can't, you know, you may stumble, and I think that's a big part of recovery. We see people stumble all the time, but then we get them right back in the door, and it's just to never give up.
What would you say to people about what life is like after recovery? Because that's a big, just seeing you sigh like that.
It's beautiful.
Right?
I mean, I get to live today. I have choices over what I do day to day. I'm not forced by an addiction that tells me what I'm going to do during the day. I get to be a wife, a good mom. I get to have conversations with my children and teach them through what I went through.
It's just to see you sigh in that answer and to know the relief that you feel having beat that is very inspirational, and I'm sure our viewers will see that. And again, if they're dealing with this kind of stuff, if someone you love is, It's not too late. Actually, the time is right now to reach out to cleanrecoverycenters.com. You see the information on your screen. And Beth, again, thank you for opening up, even in light of this being something that, is a sensitive issue and it's hard to talk about. It's very brave of you to come on and to share your information.
Thank you.